everyone, welcome back to the session of English. In this session, we are going to continue with our chapter Adjectives. So we have divided adjectives into two parts. So in this session, we are going to discuss part number 2 of adjectives that we started in our earlier session. So in that part, I already told you that what we are going to discuss in this session or what we are going to discuss in this chapter. Well, the contents were introduction, various types of adjectives, then degree of comparison, and then classification based on various aspects. Now in this session, we are going to continue the slides that we had left in our earlier session. Okay, so from this part, we are going to discuss the third classification of adjective that is based on meaning. And this one is C, that is demonstrative adjective. In our earlier session, we have already discussed quantitative adjective and descriptive adjective. So in this session, we are going to begin with demonstrative adjectives. Well, demonstrative are actually the words which we specify or which we point to. Okay. For example, if there is a word demonstrative means giving indication to something. If I say this is a pen, it means I'm giving the indication to this pen. Okay. Or if I say this pen is black, so I'm giving the indication to this pen. Okay, so this pen, this is an adjective which is qualifying the word noun. We know well that adjectives are the words which qualifies. Adjectives are the words that qualify noun. Okay, so this we have to keep in mind that adjectives are used before noun. It means whenever we write a noun, before that we write adjective, and that is somewhere known as attributive adjective. Okay, this we have already discussed in our last session. Now here we'll begin with demonstrative adjective. These adjectives point out or identify specific nouns and indicate their proximity to the speaker. Okay. Now if I say, if I'm referring any noun and I'm speaking about that noun with a person, so that person, I'm indicating that particular noun and that can be understood by the speaker directly. So this is an adjective which actually points out the noun, okay, or identify that noun as a specific noun. For examples, this, that, these, those. Now these four words are demonstrative adjectives. And this and that, these are actually used for singular noun and singular verb is used with these two demonstratives, whereas after these, those, we use a plural noun and after that plural verb. Okay, these, those refer to plurals, whereas this, that refers to singular. Demonstrative adjectives agree number with the noun they modify. Okay, indicate proximity. Demonstrative adjectives indicate the proximity of the noun to the speaker. It means when we refer to any noun, this and that or these and those, they actually prefer or they actually indicate the number of nouns. For example, this and that is used for the noun which is singular, whereas these and those define the nouns which are plural. Okay, also they show the positions of these nouns. For example, if something is near, we use this for that noun, and if something is far away from us, we use that for that. Okay, and if the nouns, if any object or if anything is more than one or more than two, so we use these and those for them according to their position. For example, if something is near, we use these, and if something is far away from us, we use those. Okay. Now in this sentence, we can demonstrate some examples as well. If I say this pen is red. So I'm talking about a pen. Pen is noun and this is indicating this pen. Okay, so this is actually a demonstrative adjective which is singular, and also this is a demonstrative adjective, and you can say that this word is used immediately before the word pen. Okay, if I say that pen is blue, it means I'm indicating a pen which is not near me. Okay, or if I say these pens are red, it means I'm talking about more than one pen, and they are actually red in color. Okay, and those means those pens which are not near to me, they are far away from me, and I'm talking about those pens are blue. Okay, so they are plural in number, that is why I'm using those words. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Now we'll read possessive adjectives. These adjectives show ownership or possession of nouns. So whenever we show the ownership of nouns, they are known as possessive adjectives. Examples: my, your, his, her, its, our, or their. So just after these we use some nouns. That is why these are known as possessive adjectives. For example, my book, my pen, book, your house, his book, his vehicle, her book, her purse, its you can say its a house or its home. Okay. um, our world, our nation, their country, their people. Okay, so we can use these words just before noun to indicate them or to show the possession of them. For example, he loves his house. Okay, it means his house. It means the house which he possesses. Okay, he loves that house. So we can use his before house. That will show that this house belongs to him. Now, agreement possessive adjectives agree in number and gender with the noun they modify. How? For example, if I say, um, his house is very special for him. Okay, so here I'm using the word his house. So house, his house means this house belongs to him. And also if I say his house is very special for him, it means I'm showing that this is actually for him only. So I'm using the word him to show the gender of that particular person. Okay, no apostrophe, used without an apostrophe to show possession. Why? Just because these words are already possessive adjectives, it means they themselves show the possession. We need not write apostrophe s after them. We need not use apostrophe after them to show the possession or to make them possessive, because they are themselves possessive. For example, if I say my car, okay, so I cannot say my car. Okay, why so? Because whenever I need a possession, I will make it in noun. For example, Ravi's car. Okay, and but if I say his and apostrophe car, so this will be incorrect. Why so? Because his word is already a possession. Okay, his word already shows the possession. If I make it double possessive, that is not useful. Okay, or that does not matter at all. So, or you can say that does not make any sense. So if I say his car, that will be incorrect definitely, because his itself shows the possession of that particular person. Okay, so I can say Ravi's car, that is fine. Otherwise, I should say his car. I cannot say his car. That will be incorrect or superfluous, or you can say that does not make any sense. Okay. Now we'll discuss interrogative adjectives. However, we are going to elaborate these adjectives later on. Okay. So in here we are just reading them briefly. Interrogative means which are interrogative in nature, which makes questions. Okay, interrogation sentence is a question sentence. So interrogative means question words. Okay, when we use question words before noun, these are known as interrogative adjectives. These adjectives are used to ask questions about the qualities or identities of nouns. For example, which, what, whose, when. Now, just after which we can have a noun, those words, those question words are known as interrogative adjectives. For example, if I say uh, what task have you completed, or which pen do you want, which girl is the best in this row. Okay, so in this case, just after these words, if we are using any noun, these words are known as interrogative adjectives. Okay, but if suppose I say whose pen is this, so just after whose we have a word pen. But if I cannot have just after immediate after it, if I can't have a noun, that will not be a possessive adjective. Sorry, that will not be an interrogative adjective. Agreement, interrogative adjectives agree in number with the noun they modify. Okay, so they should always agree in number with the noun they modify. It means if I say whose pen is this, that is correct. Which pen you are talking about, that is correct. Or which pens are you talking about? So that matters a lot, because we have to use verb according to the subject of the sentence. Now let us move to the next one. Now we'll discuss indefinite adjectives. Indefinite adjectives are those adjectives which are not showing the definite noun or definite quantity of nouns. These adjectives do not specify any particular noun and refer to non-specific or unknown things. For example, and, some, any, several, few, all, many. These are indefinite adjectives. Now, as I told you earlier as well, in case of quantitative adjective, we can classify it into two bases, that is either quantitative or numeral. Numeral is further divided into two parts, that is either indefinite or definite. So that is indefinite when we talk about some countable nouns, but we don't know the exact number of those nouns, we can use indefinite adjectives before them. For example, if I say many books, it means there are a number of books, but how many they are, I don't know the exact number, though the books are countable, so I can use many books for them because books are countable. Also, we are using these words with the countable nouns only, but that these words cannot show the exact number. If I say several books, it means there are a few number of books are there, but how many they are, I don't know exactly. Okay. So use with countable and uncountable nouns. Now, some of them can be used with uncountable nouns as well. For example, if I talk about some is a word which can be used with countable as well as uncountable noun. If I say some milk, that is also correct. Some food, that is also correct. And if I say some people, that is also correct. Now, people are countable. I can use some people. That there were some people in the fair. Okay, that is also fine. If I say there is some milk in the vessel, that is also fine. There is some food left, that is also fine. So food and milk are uncountable nouns, whereas people are countable nouns, and we are using some with both the categories, that is countable as well as uncountable. So there are a few words like some, any. These two words can be used, and all these three words can be used with countable as well as uncountable. Whereas if we talk about several, a or n, many, these can be used only with countable nouns. Okay. Now, can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. So there are some words which can be used with both the types of noun, that is countable and uncountable. Okay, I hope you got the concept. You can take various examples like a mango. Okay, so there is only one mango, I can use a mango. An apple, there is only one apple I'm talking about, so I can say an apple. If I say some people, that is fine. If I say some water, that is also fine. Now, water is uncountable. I'm using some with it, that is fine. But if I say some people, some students are going there, that is also correct. Now, some is used with the students. So, some, when used with countable nouns, the countable noun should be plural in form only. But if I use some with uncountable noun, always uncountable nouns are considered singular. Okay, so that does not affect the verb. Okay, so some can be used with uncountable nouns, but uncountable nouns are always considered singular. So after that, we'll use singular form of verb. Whereas if I'm using some with countable nouns, these countable nouns should be plural only, because some states some quantity. Okay, so I can say some students were there, or some students participated. Okay, I cannot say some student. It should be some students. Okay. Now, all is also a word which can be used with both the types of noun, that is countable and uncountable. All can be used with countable nouns, but they should be plural. For example, all the students were present. Okay, so all the students, or all students were going there, or all students were going to picnic. So all students. So students should be used. I cannot say all student. Okay. However, I can use this word all with uncountable noun as well. How? If you have heard a dialogue from a movie, that is all is well. Now I'm using all, after all I'm using is. That means all that exists. So all is well, it means everything. Okay, so all can be used with uncountable nouns as well, and to show the uncountable nouns. So in that case, we have to use singular form of verb with them. Okay. Also, if you have heard of a proverb that all that glitters is not gold. Okay, so there also we are using all for the uncountable nouns only. Okay, now let us move to the next one. We'll have the numeral adjectives. Now, these adjectives indicate the exact number or order of nouns. Now, as I told you that numeral adjectives, these can be further divided into two parts. One is definite, another is indefinite. However, there are some writers who make these separate categories. That is, quantitative is a different thing, numeral is a different thing, indefinite is a different thing, whereas numeral is also known as definite and countable, which is used with countable nouns, and is also known as definite adjective. Okay, these adjectives indicate the exact number or order of nouns. Examples: 1, first, second, 5, 20. Now, these numeral, it means definite category of numeral adjective. This can be divided into further two parts, that is either cardinal or ordinals. Cardinal type of numeral adjectives: one is cardinal, that is 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4, etc., and so on. Ordinal means first, second, third, etc. Now, multiplicative means single, double, triple. These are also known as numeral adjectives. Now, if I say first, second, third, I can say first, I can write first like this or second like this. Rather, if I write second as this is incorrect. We cannot make superscript over the Roman numbers. Okay, this is totally grammatically incorrect. However, you must have used these figures in your school life. Okay, you must have used these figures, though these are actually incorrect. We cannot use superscript over the Roman numbers. However, we should use it with the, you can say, cardinal numbers. Now, let us move to the next one. Now, we'll discuss another classification of adjective, that is classification based on degree of comparison. First of all, positive degree. However, these degrees we are going to elaborate in further sessions of degrees of comparison. Okay, we'll see these degrees in detail. Now, first of all, we have positive degree, the base form of an adjective used to describe a single noun without comparison. Whenever we talk about degrees of comparison, degree of comparison means when we compare two or more things together, we use degree of comparison. Adjective means anything which qualifies a noun. But if we talk about degree of adjectives, degree of comparison. So degree of adjectives can be of three types, and these degree of adjective make the comparison between the two or more objects or two or more nouns or pronouns. Okay. Now, positive degree is the base form of adjective. That means the base form of adjective is known as positive degree, or it can be found in positive degree only. Now, one more thing is there. If we say about the comparison with positive degree, yes, of course, comparison is done, but it is actually by using as or as. When we compare at equal level, that is known as positive degree of adjective. So whenever we compare, we cannot say without comparison. In fact, we should say whenever we compare at equal level, we use positive degree of adjective. Okay, it means if I show, or positive degree, if I show two things same or alike, we can use positive degree of adjective to show the comparison between the two. Okay, or to show the similarity between the two. For example, if I say this book is interesting, so interesting is the basic form of adjective. If I say the girl is beautiful, so this beautiful is actually the basic form of adjective. But if I say Ria is as beautiful as Sia, so I'm comparing two girls and I'm comparing the beauty of these two girls, but at equal level. It means they both are equally beautiful. So in that case, we can use positive degree of adjective. It means with as and as structure, we can only use positive degree of adjective, okay, which actually shows the comparison at equal level. Comparative degree of adjective used to compare two nouns, usually formed by adding er or more, then is used before the comparative degree. Now, in case of comparative degree of adjectives, two persons are being compared. But in this, comparison can be seen accurately. One is lesser, whereas another is more than that. And to compare two things, when something is shown inferior to another, you can use the word then, or you should use the word then to compare both the things. Also, to make positive degree, to convert the positive degree into comparative, we can either use er, or we can also make more as a prefix to that word, to make that word comparative. Okay, or to convert that word from positive to comparative. That also depends on the syllable. Okay, whether to use er or more, this totally depends on the syllable. Okay. Example, this book is more interesting than the other one. Now I'm using more interesting. It means I'm here I'm here comparing the two books where one book is more interesting than the other one. So here one book is more interesting, so I have used the word more before interesting to show the comparison between the two, okay, or the difference between the two. Superlative degree of adjective used to compare three or more nouns and usually formed by adding est, or we can actually make most as a prefix to that word. The is used before the superlative degree of adjective. So this is mandatory that we should always use the before the superlative degree of adjective. For example, if I say Ram is the best man in this world, so Ram is the best. Okay, so before best I have used the word the. Now, this is the most interesting book in the library. So if you see this sentence carefully, it is most interesting book. Okay, so we have used the word most, which is actually the superlative degree of adjective. Okay. Now, let us see some rules of comparison. First of all, preposition to is used and not then after the adjectives like these. Now, this is not actually the and then, it is actually then, the and then. When we talk about these degrees, these are not actually the comparative degrees, but these are the comparative words. Okay. First of all, we have some comparative words. These are not degrees. Why so? Because if we talk about any comparative degree of adjective, we make it from positive degree and we also make superlative of it. For example, if the word is young, okay, I can make this word like young, then younger, and then youngest. Okay, I can convert this word into comparative or superlative. Okay, but if I talk about the word senior, can I have any positive degree of it? No, not at all. Can I have the positive degree for the word junior? No. Do I have any word for the superior? Any positive word? No. For prior? No. For inferior? No, not at all. In fact, we can make them superlative. However, for example, junior most, superior most, prior, it is not actually made, or you can say senior most. So we can make a few of them, or we can convert a few of these into superlative degree of adjective. Also, there are some more words like elder. Okay, so we cannot we do not have any positive degree of such words. Therefore, these words are only the comparative words, not the degrees, and we cannot use then after them because they are not showing the comparison between the two. In fact, they themselves show the comparison. So we just use then. We just use the preposition to, not then. For example, Ravi is junior. Ravi is junior than me. If I say Ravi is junior than me. Now this sentence is incorrect. Why so? Because I have used junior, so I cannot use then. Instead, I should use to. So the correct sentence will be Ravi is junior to me, or I'm senior to Ravi. Okay, so after these words, we should use to, not then. And this is very, very important. This is asked many times in our exam. So this one is very, very important, extremely important concept, that after such words, we can only use to and not then, because these are themselves comparative words. These are not actually degrees. Degrees are those which can be converted from positive to comparative and then superlative. But these words are only comparatives. These cannot be converted into either positive or superlative. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. Now, adjectives like major, minor, interior, exterior, etc. are adjectives of positive degree. Okay, so these are actually known as positive degree of adjective. However, after these we have OR or ER structure, but they are always considered positive degree of adjective. However, if we talk about interior and exterior, they are not actually the adjectives, but they can be adverbs. Okay. However, sometimes they can be used as adjective. Okay. For example, if I say interior wall, okay, or exterior angle, okay, interior angle, exterior angle, so they can be adjectives as well. If I say interior angle, okay, so this one is, this interior is adjective, Okay, if I say interior angle, exterior angle of polygon, interior angles of the triangle. So these are, for example, I say the sum of the interior angles of triangle is 180 degree. Okay, so these words can also be known as adjectives. Okay, these are also adjectives. However, these play as adverbs as well. Now let us move to the next one. If there is a comparison of two nouns or noun equivalents, then to is used after prefer. For example, Ram prefers tea to coffee. Now, if I use the word prefer, again, I have to use the word to, not then. Okay. If there is a comparison of verbs, then rather than is used after prefer. Whenever we use, whenever we make the choice from the two verbs, we should use rather than instead of prefer. For example, Rahim prefers to run rather than walk. Okay, so we can use rather than after prefer. Okay, so we can use both the phrases together in a single sentence. For example, Rahim prefers to run rather than walk. Okay, so prefers to run, this is one choice, rather than and not walk. Okay, now let us move to the next one. Rules of comparison. If two adjectives are joined with and then both adjectives take the same degree. The weather was cold and windy. Now whenever we have this structure like adjective plus and after that again we have an adjective. In this case, both the adjectives should be of same degree. Okay, we cannot make that one is comparative degree and another one is positive degree. They should be of same degree of adjectives. Okay, for example, if I say Rashi is beautiful, beautiful and more intelligent, more intelligent, more intelligent than Ria. Okay, now in this sentence, do you feel that this sentence is correct? No, not at all. Actually, Rashi is beautiful and more intelligent. Now we have to use both the sides with same degree of adjective. So here we have more intelligent, which is comparative degree of adjective. But here we only have beautiful. So this is incorrect. We should write Rashi is more beautiful and more intelligent than Ria. So this should be the concept of writing the two adjectives in a single sentence. For example, the weather was cold and windy. So on both sides of and, I have written positive degrees of adjectives. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. There is never the usage of double comparatives and double superlative. This is also very important. We cannot use double comparatives or double superlatives. For example, if I say she is the tallest girl in her class, that is fine. But if I say she is the most tallest, she is the most tallest. Now tallest is actually a superlative degree of adjective, and if I use most before it, that will make it more superlative, which is grammatically incorrect. We can only use one superlative structure, not the two. Okay, she is the most tallest girl in her class. Now this sentence is incorrect, in her class. So this sentence is incorrect. We should write tallest, not most. Okay, she's the tallest girl in her class. Okay, now let us move to the next one. This is next rule, that is whenever we have phrase one of, after that we have superlative degree of adjective, after that we should only have plural noun. Now one of before superlative we should have the. Okay, so whenever we have the structure one of the, after that we can have the superlative degree of adjective, and after this is mandatory to have plural noun only, because among the plural noun we can only fetch one, that is one of the. I cannot make one out of one. Okay, for example, one of the most she is one of the most intelligent lady in the world. Okay, so she's the one of the most intelligent lady in the world. So I have written most Intelligent. After one of the phrase, I have most intelligent lady. So this sentence is incorrect. Why so? I should write ladies. Okay. Now in the world. So this will be the correct sentence. She is one of the most intelligent ladies in the world. I cannot say lady because she is one of the most intelligent ladies of the ladies in the world. It means from among all the ladies, she is the most intelligent. Okay. So just to find one out of all, we should use one of the phrase, and after this one of the phrase, we can only have a plural noun structure. Okay. Now let us move to the next one. We have definite adjectives. These adjectives are used with definite articles, that is the, and refer to specific nouns. For example, I like the red car. So here you can see car is a noun before which we have used the word red, which is a color, and before this we have used the. Okay. So when we refer to a definite noun, we can use the before it. Or let us move to the next one. Indefinite adjectives. Indefinite adjectives. These adjectives are used with indefinite articles a or n and refer to a non-specific nouns. I need a new phone. So if we talk about the structure, like first we have noun, before this we have an adjective, we should have indefinite article before it. And for those nouns actually which we are not making specific or which we do not know. Okay, so I need a new phone. So here we have used a, that is indefinite article before this new phone, because this new phone can be any. Okay, there is no specification about this phone. So this is all about adjectives that we have read till now. These are actually some types of adjectives, and rest of the part will be reading in degrees of comparison, that how to make the degrees of comparison, how to compare the adjectives, and how to elaborate them. Well, that will be discussed, that we will be discussing in the parts of degrees of adjectives. Okay. So that will be the separate chapters or the sessions of the separate chapter. Till then, thanks to you. And if you want to know it further, be connected with me. Thanks to you.